I was surprised when she mentioned his sense of humor. But
Sunny Hostin, her husband accused of committing federal insurance fraud in a lawsuit.
The drama brewing between the co-hosts of The View and President Donald Trump has reached a boiling point, and it's safe to say the feud is far from over. If you've been following this saga, you know it's not just about politics. It's personal. The hosts of The View have never shied away from voicing their opinions, and Trump, well, he's never been one to sit quietly in the face of criticism. But lately, things have escalated to a level no one could have predicted. The back and forth has become a spectacle, sparking outrage, applause, and a cascade of rumors that have social media and news outlets buzzing.
Is just unheard of, and it really sounds the alarm for someone like me who studied journalism in college, right? It scares me.
Let's start with the latest blow in this public war of words. During a recent episode of The View, co-host Joy Behar stirred the pot by suggesting that Democrats should walk out en masse, possibly even in their birthday suits, during Trump's upcoming joint address to Congress. While she was clearly joking, or was she, the comment was enough to send shockwaves through the media. Behar's sharp tongue has long been a thorn in the side of Republicans, but this time her remarks seemed to encapsulate the frustration many on the left feel about Trump's political comeback.
because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you.
Behar's co-host, Sunny Hostin, wasn't far behind in expressing her disdain. Hostin, who has often positioned herself as the voice of reason on the show, argued that Democrats shouldn't even show up for Trump's address. Why? Give him the audience he craves? She questioned, suggesting that denying him the spotlight would be a more powerful statement than any walkout. Hostin's remarks were met with mixed reactions, with some praising her for taking the high road and others accusing her of trying to suppress political discourse.
I thought what she also said, in disagreeing with Stephen A. Smith, thankfully, is that the current president, does not have a mandate. He does not. And I'm glad that she made that clear to our viewers. I've said it. Joy has said it.
And then there's Whoopi Goldberg, the unofficial leader of the View's panel. Never one to mince words, Goldberg has taken a unique approach to dealing with Trump. She refuses to say his name, referring to him only as you know who. Goldberg's disdain for the president is palpable. During one of her recent tirades, she declared, "We are not our grandparents. We're not going anywhere, and you can call it whatever letters you want to, but you're going to wake up and we'll still be here." It was a fiery statement, one that resonated with The View's largely liberal audience, but also drew criticism from conservatives who accused her of grandstanding.
You know, not only has Trump emboldened people to run for the highest office of the land, he's actually surrounded himself with incompetency. So that is scary to me. And people that are loyal, that will just do whatever he says and go along with the program, not only in his cabinet, but in Congress. So I'm sort of,
Of course, Trump wasn't about to let these comments slide. At a rally in Pennsylvania, he launched into a scathing attack on the show's host, calling them really dumb people and singling out Goldberg as demented and disgusting. He even claimed to have hired Goldberg as a comedian years ago, only to regret it when half the place left during her performance. Goldberg, never one to back down, fired back on The View, reminding Trump that she had headlined at his casino multiple times before he ran it into the ground. The exchange was as petty as it was entertaining, but it highlighted the deep animosity between the two camps.
But even factoring in that she's a nice-looking lady, I love that the libs' attacks on conservatives right now are that we're hot and cool.
But this feud isn't just about insults, it's about power, influence, and the optics of who gets the last word. Trump's supporters have accused The View of being a liberal echo chamber, while the show's fans argue that it's one of the few platforms willing to hold the president accountable. The tension came to a head when new White House press secretary Karoline Leavitt, a 27-year-old rising star in Trump's administration, became the latest target of The View's ire.
And Karoline Leavitt isn't just making headlines, she's also rewriting history. At 27, the New Hampshire native has become the youngest White House press secretary ever.
Leavitt's first press briefing made headlines for its bold reforms, including the introduction of seats for new media like podcasters and independent journalists. But her remarks against wokeness and her criticism of legacy media didn't sit well with the ladies of The View. Whoopi Goldberg was particularly incensed, arguing that Leavitt's stance on wokeness was hypocritical. Without that wokeness, you might not even have that job, Goldberg snapped, pointing out the struggles women have faced to break into positions of power. Joy Behar, however, took things to a whole new level. In a comment that has since gone viral, she suggested that Leave It only got her job because of her looks.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10.
The remark was met with immediate backlash, with critics accusing Behar of sexism and hypocrisy. After all, isn't The View supposed to champion women in positions of power? Conservative commentators were quick to pounce, with many labeling Behar's comment as a desperate attempt to discredit a young, accomplished woman simply because she works for Trump. Leave It herself has stayed relatively composed amidst the controversy, focusing instead on her duties as press secretary. But her allies have been vocal in defending her. Conservative pundit Charlie Kirk called Behar's comment disgusting and accused her of being anti-woman. Even Megyn Kelly weighed in, acknowledging that while Behar's remark was obviously meant to diminish Leave It, it only served to highlight the double standards in how conservative women are treated in the media.
Isn't it rich that The View is saying she got the job based on looks when DEI is all about based on looks?
The View's attacks on Leave It aren't just about her policies or her affiliation with Trump. They're also a reflection of the larger cultural war playing out in America. The show's hosts have been vocal critics of Trump's administration, using their platform to challenge his policies and rhetoric. But their critics argue that their approach often veers into the realm of personal attacks, undermining their credibility and fueling the very divisiveness they claim to oppose. And then there's the question of legal repercussions. Rumors have been swirling that Trump and his team are considering legal action against The View for defamation. While it's unclear what the basis for such a lawsuit would be, the mere possibility has added another layer of intrigue to this already dramatic saga. If Trump were to go through with it, it could set a precedent for how public figures engage with their critics in the media. But it could also backfire, drawing even more attention to The View and solidifying its role as a thorn in Trump's side. Meanwhile, the feud has had a ripple effect on public opinion. Fans of The View see the show as a bastion of free speech and female empowerment, while Trump supporters view it as a platform for liberal propaganda. Social media has been ablaze with debates over who's in the right, with hashtags like boycott The View and stand with The View trending alternately, depending on the day.
Of Sunny Hostin on The View, Tom, basically implicating her husband in this type of a scheme.
But perhaps the most intriguing aspect of this feud is how it has overshadowed other controversies surrounding the show's hosts. Take Sunny Hostin, for example. While she's been vocal in her criticism of Trump, her own legal troubles have started to make headlines. The arrest of her husband, Drew Emanuel Hostin, on charges of insurance fraud has raised questions about her integrity and whether she might be implicated in his alleged crime. It's a story that's still unfolding, but one that has the potential to shake The View to its core.
According to the documents, he knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries.
As the battle between The View and Trump rages on, one thing is clear. This is more than just a clash of personalities. It's a microcosm of the polarized state of American politics and media, a high-stakes game where every word, every gesture is scrutinized and weaponized. And with new developments emerging almost daily, it's a saga that shows no signs of slowing down. What happens next? Well, that's anyone's guess, but you can bet both sides will continue to fight tooth and nail to control the narrative. And just when you think the drama couldn't get any juicier, the focus shifts to Sunny Hostin's unfolding legal saga, a story that might just eclipse even the most heated moments of this ongoing feud. So the twists and turns just keep coming, don't they? As if the ongoing feud between The View and Donald Trump wasn't enough to keep everyone talking, Sunny Hostin's personal life has suddenly taken center stage. While the hosts have been relentless in their critiques of Trump, calling him out for everything from his policies to his alleged hiring practices, Sunny now finds herself under the microscope. Her husband, Drew Emanuel Hostin, has been hit with some serious allegations, ones that have left people questioning just how deep Sunny's involvement might go. And let's just say, the rumor mill is spinning faster than ever.
Oh, but it's just, I mean, Pat, you're married. Tom, you're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to...
The accusations against Drew Hostin are nothing short of jaw-dropping. He's been named in a sweeping legal case involving over 180 defendants, with claims that he participated in fraudulent billing practices and took kickbacks in exchange for performing unnecessary medical procedures. We're talking about big money here, folks. The lawsuit, filed by the American Transit Insurance Company, alleges that Emanuel, along with others, exploited New York's no-fault insurance laws to rake in massive payouts. According to the complaint, patients who were involved in minor traffic accidents fender benders, really ended up undergoing invasive surgeries they didn't even need. And guess what? The insurance company footed the bill.
For your stuff. Let's just not forget who she is. She's been, for years, lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what does this have to do with Sunny? Well, that's where things get murky. Rumors have been swirling that Sunny, who has always portrayed herself as a champion of justice and integrity, may have known more than she's letting on. After all, it's hard to imagine that a legal expert like Sunny, with her sharp instincts and decades of experience, wouldn't notice if something shady was happening right under her nose. Could it be that she turned a blind eye? Or worse, was she somehow complicit in her husband's alleged misdeeds? These are the questions everyone's been asking, and so far, Sunny's been tight-lipped. Let's not forget that Sunny isn't just any public figure. She's a lawyer, a journalist, and a co-host on one of the most-watched daytime talk shows in America. She's no stranger to holding others accountable, often grilling guests and public figures about their own controversies. So naturally, people are wondering if she'll face the same level of scrutiny she's so quick to dish out. Critics have been quick to point out the irony, with some saying, if this were someone on the other side of the political aisle, Sunny would be calling for their resignation. Harsh, but not entirely unfounded.
And it's a very serious crime. In fact, it's one of the largest, if not the largest, RICO case in New York's history.
Of course, Sunny hasn't been completely silent. In a statement released to the media, she came out swinging, accusing the insurance company of targeting her family because of her public profile. She claimed the lawsuit was nothing more than a frivolous attempt to avoid paying legitimate medical claims. According to Sunny, the company is on the verge of financial collapse and is using her husband as a scapegoat to distract from its own shortcomings. She even hinted at filing a countersuit for defamation, alleging that the company's actions have caused irreparable damage to her family's reputation. It's a bold move, but will it be enough to clear her name?
And they're essentially saying that it's a money grab. And they're also going to countersue for millions of dollars, $5 million plus.
What's particularly interesting is how this scandal is playing out behind the scenes at The View. According to insiders, the situation has created a bit of tension among the co-hosts. While the show prides itself on tackling tough issues head-on, this one hits a little too close to home. Some sources have suggested that producers are walking on eggshells, unsure of how to address the allegations without making things even more uncomfortable for Sunny. After all, this is a show that thrives on open dialogue and heated debates. Can they really afford to sidestep such a major story involving one of their own? And then there's the audience. Fans of The View are as divided as ever, with some rallying behind Sunny and others calling for her to step down until the legal situation is resolved. Social media has been flooded with comments ranging from supportive to downright brutal. One user wrote, "Sunny has always been my favorite, but this is a bad look. She needs to come clean." Another chimed in, "If she knew what was going on, she's just as guilty as her husband. No excuses." Ouch. But let's not overlook the timing of all this. The scandal comes at a moment when The View is already under intense scrutiny. The show has been making headlines for its fiery political debates and controversial statements, particularly when it comes to Trump and his administration. Some have even speculated that the allegations against Emmanuel Hostin are part of a larger effort to discredit the show and its hosts. Could this be a coordinated attack, or is it simply a case of bad timing? Either way, the optics are less than ideal.
But if she didn't really know what was going on, right, which is what she's probably going to say later, I had no idea what my husband and his associates were doing. We'll wait and see what that is, but I think it's pretty freaking ironic.
Sunny's co-hosts have mostly stayed out of the fray, at least publicly. Whoopi Goldberg, for instance, has been her usual unbothered self, focusing more on the show's broader mission of tackling political and social issues. Joy Behar, ever the provocateur, has reportedly joked about the situation off camera, but has kept her comments to a minimum on air. And as for the more conservative Alyssa Farah Griffin, well, she's been noticeably quiet, which is surprising given her penchant for calling out hypocrisy. Could it be that the co-hosts are trying to protect one of their own? Or are they simply waiting for more facts to emerge before weighing in?
Totally different perspective on this. I don't really know what happened with this. The facts will come out. What I have a problem with is the core of who this woman is. Unlike you, I don't watch The View, bro. All I do is see clips. I know you.
It's like twice a day.
But here's all I hear from her. America's violent, America's racist, America's bad. Okay.
The whispers of discontent reportedly brewing within the show's production team are even more intriguing. There has been behind-the-scenes tension about whether or not Sunny should address the allegations directly on air. Some producers feel like it's the elephant in the room and ignoring it makes the show look hypocritical. Others think it's too risky to bring up, especially since Sunny's legal team is already involved. This internal debate has apparently caused a rift among the staff, with some fearing that the controversy could lead to a ratings dip if not handled carefully. Adding another layer of complexity is the fact that The View has always marketed itself as a show that doesn't shy away from tough conversations. Whether it's political scandals or personal missteps, the hosts have built their brand on being unfiltered and unapologetic. But when one of their own is at the center of the storm, can they maintain that same energy? Critics have been quick to point this out, with one media analyst commenting that The View risks losing credibility if they cherry-pick which scandals to discuss based on how close to home they hit. If they want to hold others accountable, they need to apply the same standards internally.
But I would tell them to look at themselves very hard in the mirror and say, have we really not brought this on ourselves?
Meanwhile, Emmanuel Hostin's legal team has been working overtime to shift the narrative. In a recent press conference, his lawyer accused American Transit of orchestrating a smear campaign, pointing to what they described as a pattern of harassment against other medical professionals. This is not the first time they've tried to intimidate doctors into settling baseless claims, the lawyer stated. The hallway crimes? Only crime is providing care to patients in pain. We will prove his innocence in court. While this defense may satisfy some, others remain skeptical, especially given the sheer scale of the lawsuit and the detailed allegations outlined in the 698-page complaint. What's undeniable is the impact this scandal could have on Sunny's career, and on The View as a whole. If the allegations against Emmanuel turn out to be true, it could tarnish Sunny's reputation irreparably. After all, her brand is built on credibility and integrity, and while she's not the one facing legal action, the mere association could be enough to cause lasting damage. On the flip side, if Sunny's claims of being targeted unfairly hold water, it could be a rallying point for her and her fans. Either way, the stakes couldn't be higher. As the legal case unfolds, all eyes will be on Sunny and how she handles the mounting pressure. Will she address the allegations directly on The View? Will she continue to stand by her husband? Or will cracks begin to show in her public facade? And what about the rest of the cast? How will they navigate this delicate situation without alienating their audience or each other? These are the questions that will undoubtedly dominate the conversation in the weeks to come. But let's not forget the bigger picture here. This isn't just about one person or one family. It's about the intersection of power, privilege, and accountability. It's about how public figures navigate scandals in the age of social media, where every misstep is amplified and every word is dissected. And it's about the lengths people will go to protect their reputations or to tear others down. So what do you think? Is Sunny being unfairly targeted, or is there more to this story than meets the eye? Could this be the beginning of the end for her time on The View, or will she emerge stronger than ever? And how will this scandal affect the show's already contentious dynamic? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay tuned, because if there's one thing we've learned from this saga, it's that the drama is far from over.